Welcome, Leo, 2016. Happy New Year, January, in fact. And let me introduce you to the coming 12 months with, a synopsis of astrological aspects that are influencing the sign of the lion, Leo, throughout the coming 4 weeks. And I'm Dadhichi from astrology.com.au. We bring you these forecasts every month. Very brief. There are more detailed analysis at the site, and I'll tell you about that later. But I guess the interesting first aspect we see on the 2nd of January for you, pardon me, the communications planet, Mercury, moving to your 7th house of relationships from the 6th house. 6th house has to do with work, health, debts, disease, that sort of thing. And it goes retrograde. In other words, after it moves into the 7th sign of your chart, which is relationship, it then actually does a bit of backtracking, going back into this area. So it's a bit of a revisionary time starting the year. And that's often the case because we're doing all of our New Year's resolutions and that's that sort of thing. It goes retrograde on the 6th of January and then re-enters that 6th house on the 9th. So this is an important first week of the month, which in a sense tells us that your mind is about to go forward in maybe some area of your relationships, only then to go backwards and to start revising and going back over some old ground in that 6th house of work or health. The two may actually be linked. So, for example, some of you may not be feeling all that good in your relationships if your weight has gotten out of control or your health is precluding you from interacting with your partner in the way you would like. So those two things could be tied in, and during this period up until later in the month, actually, when it goes direct around the 26th, you'll be doing a lot of work in this specific area. We also see on the 4th of January a move from Mars, probably your best planet actually, apart from the Sun, which is the ruler for the sign of Leo. Mars moving to your 4th house, which has to do with family, real estate, fixed assets, big ticket items such as cars, boats, land and housing. All those sorts of things are under the rulership of Mars. Now, it is a favourable planet, but its transit through this area also indicates, because of its inherent nature, maybe disputes or a bit of an impatience on your part in terms of dealing with some members of that family. And I'm looking at your chart over here, so I'm not ignoring you when I'm looking over here. I've got all my dates and the actual chart itself. I did forget to mention too that the 6th house, which I was mentioning, having to do with your health, your work, the routine of your work, your debts, enemies also come under the rulership of this area. We see a new moon on the 10th. And that's important because it shows a whole new approach to the way you're dealing with this aspect of your life. Now that's a double whammy because you've got that Mercury moving backwards into this area, revisionary sort of cycle. And then we see that new moon taking place. And the new moon releases a lot of energy. It is the start of new things. For some of you, there may be some dissatisfaction in your work, dissatisfaction with the way that you are handling your debts, your finances. And we see Jupiter, another very, very favourable planet for you, currently moving in your 2nd house of income, in conjunction with the moon as the year starts, showing good fortune in the way that money may flow to you. But that 6th house is telling us the way in which maybe you're expending that money is something that you need to look at. By the way, moon rules your 12th house, which is also another sector of expenditure. And so the new moon shows us a whole new attitude to the way you save money, the way you spend it. You could be less frivolous in the way you also expend your energy, because that is also a valuable resource too, Leo, not just cold hard cash. Time is money, emotion and intellectual property is potential money. So you're going to be looking at all of these things and the way you deal with people in that sense. Venus is the actual career planet for you. On the 6th, it moves to the right angle, what we call square aspect of Neptune. Neptune's in your 8th house. All of this is pointing again to finances and work. So there could be some confusion that has been building up, and it could come to a peak around that time when it moves to the perfect square. Square is a challenge. You're going to have your fair share of challenges in your workplace. 10th house is also the authority figures in your life. In this case, Venus is a female planet. You may actually have some confusion or problems, deception, because Neptune is the planet of deception. Pardon me. And so you need to be on guard in terms of the way you're dealing with people in your professional arena who fit that specific description. We also see Venus producing a couple of other aspects around the 9th and the 13th, the conjunction to Saturn, and that's in your 5th house. Now, Venus in the 5th is normally great for speculative ventures, and being your planet of career, it is indicating that you may want to take some sort of gamble in taking a new job, but the conjunction of Saturn on the 9th and the period leading up to that could show that you get cold feet over the whole thing. It actually puts a hold on it. And that's not a bad thing, because don't forget, this is all happening against that background of Mercury moving in retrogression, saying that you should really, carefully think things through, revise what you're doing, reassess your plans, look at what the outcome of those plans are. And what you may find is that the decisions you were about to make, and I always say that the future ain't what it used to be, which is why astrology comes in handy sometimes, that you may reassess all of that and redirect your energies into a completely different direction before moving in the direction you thought you were going to move in, which is why the future ain't what it used to be. So that's all happening around the middle of the month. There are some nicer aspects there around the 13th with the trine from Venus to Uranus, indicating, I think, some very progressive opportunities for you in your work. Maybe what you hadn't anticipated suddenly occurs, because Uranus is the planet of sudden acquisition or unexpected events, revealing things to you. And again, that has everything to do with your professional activities. We see that Uranus rules your 7th house, and it is in the 9th house in its transit. So these are ethical issues. These are issues of your higher ideals, the expectations you have in life, and really the long-term goals that you have. Don't forget too that this 9th house has much to say about your past karma. So maybe what you've done in the past is about to come to you in a flash when you least expect it. But do be careful. Keep reminding you about that retrogression of Mercury. Whatever you think is going to happen may actually unexpectedly, and Uranus does that as well, do an about face. There is some good information coming to you, I believe, during the transit of the Sun to transiting Jupiter. That's around the 14th. The transiting Sun conjoining Mercury on the 15th. The same date, the transiting Mercury, trining Jupiter. All really good for communications, receiving great information, news that is befitting some of your plans. And these favourable aspects put a real positive spin on what you're hoping to do at that time. Let me remind you too, Jupiter in the 2nd house of finances, ruling the 8th house of shared resources and the 5th house of speculation. That could be some good news in terms of what it was you're planning to do, but there may be some sort of delay there. You may receive the thumbs up, but that could be post-dated check, post-dated offer of some new position, post-dated love. That could work too. maybe long distance romance via internet, because you've got that Uranus moving through the 9th house, remember. So that has to do with foreign cultures, meeting other people, unusual characters, are all indicated under these transits for you. Other nice transits include the 18th of January trine from Mars to Neptune. That again is reinforcing what I'm saying here, that some of your ideals and dreams can actually come down now to the real Earth dimension where you can make things happen. The square of Venus to Jupiter on the 18th is one in which your affections may be swinging from cold comfort to excessive sorts of generosity. And you need to find the balance there, I think, because the Venus square Jupiter shows that you could ingratiate yourself, try to do more than you need to rectify a situation. So it's important just to find that balance. Relationships, keep focusing there, because on the 21st the Sun moves to the 7th house, which is relationships, public relations. Great opportunity for you if you're dealing with the public. The square on the 21st of Mercury to Uranus is a little bit iffy. You could be very, very impulsive there with your speech, with your ideas, and that's going to, I guess, steal away a little bit of the opportunity you have with the Sun in the 7th house. So hang back there, and again, I keep reiterating, wait until after that direct motion of Mercury around the 24th. Mercury seems to be highlighting many of the and punctuating many of the events that are going to happen in the next month. So it's all about this, keeping a focus, keeping your mind calm and not making rash decisions at all. We see that also because it could reach a fever pitch straight after it goes direct around the 30th, when it hits that conjunction of Pluto. Pluto in that 6th house, showing you're likely to do something rather dramatic, rather intense if you've been waiting, as you probably will have been through this revisionary period. Again, although this planet goes direct, a lot of astrologers forget that and lay people too, that just because the planet goes direct doesn't mean that on that date things are going to rectify. It really needs to pass back into its direct motion over that point wherein it went retrograde. So you need to maybe wait a week or two early into February before you can make the right sort of decisions, and to do them in a way that's not going to ruffle the feathers of people around you. It's nice to see the sextile aspect. That's a 60-degree aspect taking place on the 31st. Your career planet in an excellent aspect to the idealistic and spiritual Neptune. A nice little note to finish on, and one which encourages hope and good things for your career in the coming month or so. I'll be here next month. To those of you that are new, you can go to the website astrology.com.au and check out the detailed textual analysis we have for the month. This is obviously an overview. Lots of free readings, oracles, daily readings. The yearly forecasts are also out right now, so you can contextualize this month in terms of the coming 12 months and see where that's taking you. I'm available there if you want a reading, if you need more detailed analysis. Till next month, take care. Good luck. Bye-bye now.